Do a call.
We're gonna wait for Matt Crowe.
Okay. Mayor G.W. Scott? We got to do a roll call.
Okay.
Mayor G.W. Scott?
Here.
Trustees Matt Madrowski?
Here.
Dan Carey?
Here.
Ron Sandberg?
Here.
Kent Levers?
Here.
John Buckley?
Here.
Roy Abernathy absent. Attorney Doug Stewart?
Here.
Chief Capitelli?
Here.
Brian Rader?
Here.
Clerk Cindy Miller present. Tamara Amon? Here.
Okay. Yeah.
I'd like to know why the attorney is charging citizens of Caseyville election research, campaign research, and election code research.
Say it again.
Why are you charging the citizens of Caseyville election research, campaign research, and election code research? Who are you campaigning for?
I'm actually not campaigning for anyone. Mr. Hayes paid for a Facebook page, paid $1,000 for it. He has announced himself as a candidate for mayor, and he's using it to campaign for office right now. And as the attorney for the election board, it is my job to understand what the violations of that could be and how that would impact the election cycle as it comes in the fall.
Any other questions?
What guidance did you get from the board or the mayor to do this?
I didn't ask for guidance from the board or the mayor.
That you, before you could go up and do things, you have to have guidance from the board and the mayor.
That would be underneath my independent authority.
So, everything that you do is under the guidance and approval of the board and the mayor. That's what it states in the ordinance. We also need more detailed billing because when we read through bills, we don't know where that money's going. When I see how many hours a month, call their police, call their admin, call their public works, what's it for? We don't know. The gals and AP don't know. They don't know how to break it down. Amy's doing it now. She said something about it, and Gabby said something to me about it before. They have a hard time. So we need a little bit more detail so we know what we're paying for, that the taxpayers are paying for, and the girls where to bill it to.
Brian, do you need much legal guidance in the Water Street Department?
At times I do. I mean, what's your definition of much? I mean,
Well, 26 hours in 22 days. That seems like a lot.
I don't know.
This little paper right here,
There's over $40,000 from your wife, Dan. $8,500 for one day in court. Did you question that?
Yeah.
Did you question $20-some thousand every
Hold
year?
on, back up. You said because of who?
Your wife?
Because of my wife.
Yes, the grievance she filed.
That was because of my wife.
Yes,
Now,
that was
why
the grievance.
was the reason for the grievance to be filed?
hey,
My wife did my home.
That's lawyer expense, we're discussing
hey,
lawyer expense.
we are not allowed to discuss this because we were allowed to go into closed session.
It's lawyers' bills.
And it wasn't my wife, that would be Teamsters Local 50 that went to the labor relations.
So,
Not my wife.
We went into closed, hold on, Doug. We, with all due respect, we went into closed session to talk about why we voted no on the bills, per Ron's request.
Yes.
That
and
is-
my question is, why did you not vote no?
I make a motion to go back into open session. Do we have a second?
Well, before we bring that up, before we go back in open session, another thing with the bills, why are we paying bills before they're approved? Why are checks going out before this board approves them?
It's been standard practice to do that. for-
That's not a standard process.
It's been our standard practice.
It might be, been here for a while, that's not right. This board is the ones that approve the bills.
I gotta say, some of them go out because we've made contracts with them, and if we don't pay them, we're paying penalties like on a tractor, anything that we.
And if you let them know, I'm in construction, I deal with multi-million-dollar corporations. They're paid, this is their rates. I can say, hey, you don't pay in 15 days, you're gonna pay interest, you're gonna pay late fees. They don't care. They say this is the term. So with us, with our vendors, here's when you're gonna get paid. Here's our meetings, you get paid the following day.
What's your net, what's your net,
We don't
what's your net?
have a way, if there's a discrepancy on a bill like we had tonight, that bill's already been paid. So we can't hold it to review it because it's already been paid.
What is most of your bills net what?
15, probably.
So every 15 days you're gonna have a board meeting, right?
Well, sometimes there's 3 weeks between meetings, but typically every 14 days.
So it falls to benefit. Does anybody do ACHs?
We don't do ACHs for vendor payments,
Could we? Would it be easier for you guys?
no.
But for however many years this village has been there before, that's the way the bills were done. So how can the bills get paid before they're approved?
Can I have a turn? That would be a terrible business practice to hold bills until the board meeting. I've never run a finance department that way. It's a very antiquated idea because of all the penalties and interest that.
But if you notify.
Can I finish my thought first?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so I am not recommending that. When you approve the appropriations ordinance, you're empowering your department heads to run the operations of the village. So I'm operating under the assumption that everything the village attorney bills us for is legal and appropriate. It's not my job to question that and say, this is not an expense that I can put through. It's a courtesy that we're providing you that list after we paid the bills, so you know what we've paid for your accounts payable since that last meeting. But if you take issue with something after the fact, we can deal with it after the fact. Honestly, I'm not sure what to do now that we've put it on the agenda and it's been voted down, so we're gonna have to have legal counsel for that. But this is not inappropriate by any means.
So, just to be upfront with you board members, your legal bills are going up as long as we're doing these big things. So if this is heartburn now, this is only gonna get worse for you. Just to be open.
Well, we need to be open, and that way we can see what the taxpayers are paying for.
I got a question. Why do we vote on bills then? Should we even vote?
I don't think so, but it is a courtesy that Caseyville has always extended to the elected officials.
The way our village dynamics are set up, that's
Yeah.
not corporate authority. Right here at the table. That's what we have to vote on.
What was that?
The way our village is set up, this is the corporate authority. That's why we have to vote on the bills that are paid.
That's why you set the appropriation amount, so we have a legal spending limit in each
Well,
line.
that's spending limit, but we still have to vote to approve the bills.
I don't want to get down in the weeds on this, but your job is to set policy and to hire staff to run the operations of the business, and that's what we are doing.
Is there a reason why we're trying to reinvent our process? I mean, this has been.
We're not
for a while.
reinventing, we're just putting it back the way that it should be. We should be paying bills before they're voted.
We skipped a whole week period in the middle of the month.
This month,
That's a big one here
this
for
month we
this
did,
one,
this
yes.
month we did, but on a normal basis, we don't.
No,
Why is this an issue on a normal basis?
What's that?
Why is this an issue on a normal basis?
It is an issue.
well, normally we get paid every 14 days, sometimes 21, where we're normally doing that, but we had a holiday on a meeting, so we couldn't do that this time.
What was frustrating is when Maryville attorney makes 30, and I get there, you charge what you charge, and, you know, ours is 175,000.
Can I ask you a question?
Shiloh is 60. You know, Carlisle is 40. I mean, it's,
So when our,
What is that based off of
when
though?
our bills are that much higher, we would like to see, to make sure where that money.
Right, but your information is flawed. Well, you're taking your information on what is a legal line item across a string of budget sheets. Do you look at what their other professional services are? They're 250,000.
yeah, but we have department heads in this board here to run
And so do they.
this little village. And, you know, I mean, and they don't have the attorney's bills. Are we doing something wrong? Is why our attorney bills are so high?
So you have to do one of two things as a board. You either have to pay me to do what I'm doing, or you have to hire people to do it, because they're stretched thin as it is. They are all at capacity, and we're asking them to do bigger things, and we're complaining that you have to pay for it.
We're no different than any other community that works the same way with a public works director.
And as long as you continue acting as if you're the small town, and you're not in this bigger community stuff, you will stagnate this community. I'm just to be upfront. We're trying to stop a ton of things that we've got going on, and you're upset that it's generating, and this is exactly what I was talking about when it came to the levy, like, you have to pay to push these things forward.
And we
There's
have-
no doubt about that.
We have a mayor and 6 board members sitting up here that could be working on a lot of
Right,
stuff.
and Dan, you work full-time. Can you stop working full-time and spend your effort? Because
I
this
still
is,
put a lot of hours into this village, why I'm working for.
and I know that, and that's the thing. Can you absorb my hours on top of the hours you've already put into it?
Between the 6 of us and the mayor, the 7 of us, I'm sure we could. But it's all of us up here.
Okay. All right. Well, that's the question for you. Can you give up whatever you've got going on, and you absorb the work that we're all doing? And I appreciate this is a little bit of a shot at me, and specifically the work I'm doing, and you absorb that on a voluntary basis. That's all I got.
Now, I got a question. To make some people happy, are you gonna kind of do it a little different on your invoices or
I have
something?
no problem, and I'm trying to point you to what I'm working at, but I don't think you guys understand, like, when I put I'm talking to Public Works, that's not always Brian that I'm talking to. So it's not always Chief that I'm talking to from the cops. Sometimes there are people who have real-time questions and they'll call and ask me. You know, we have an issue with a restraining order.
Who would it be? That's not Brian that you're talking to, who?
I've spoken to Detective Allison on a regular basis, especially on this Bitcoin.
And how about Culver Police, Detective Allison, and what, or don't you have to put a name on it, just what it's in regards to, so we know that this planning and zoning is, no address on it.
Okay.
If you want to get that in depth, I went and took a shit for 5 minutes and I wiped my ass or whatever, you're gonna make the expenses even more.
Most municipal attorneys will put, call rear this.
You can itemize something to death.
Can we be professional? Let's be professional.
Oh, this
Come on now, John, come on now.
Come on, man. Don't make me laugh.
You're not, okay, these meeting minutes will be released.
Good, I don't care. Release them, I hope they do, because I've been releasing a lot of things.
We can't.
So all I'm saying is, if you itemize everything to death, you're gonna spend more time to run a bill.
When you're typing down Culver Police,
Ron, to
one
answer your
line
question, yes.
next to it, it takes seconds.
Okay.
We don't make every person from the village itemize what they're doing every minute of the
All I
day.
got was,
to justify
you're
the
gonna take
salaries.
care of that. You're gonna give them some little bit better itemized things, and we'll get it done.
You're right. The other thing I'm going to encourage you all to do is engage, talk to us. The department heads, if you're talking to these guys on a regular basis, you're hearing what I'm doing because I'm constantly going back and forth with
And
them.
that's a two-way.
Give me a call.
Yeah, there has to be a lot of communication here, and there's very, very little.
I disagree. I am more than willing to talk to anyone here.
Okay, you might disagree, there is some communication with some, but not the whole board.
And I'm-
So if all this came about and you learned it from Amy or whoever over there, why didn't you call Doug and ask him to begin with instead of pulling this dog and pony show?
I sent an email, and I
Your
said,
email didn't have questions, your email just said, hey, give us more detail.
It didn't question anything, you said more details.
but you didn't.
I called the mayor 2 days ago.
But you tried the dog and pony show.
Yeah.
Because you said that the girls would like to know for the village to receive more detailed billings. When reviewing the bills, most of the line items are vague to determine what the billing is for. The girls doing accounts payable also have a hard time determining what's accounted and what accounts to pull from.
We have a
Some more
practice.
details would be better off. But you didn't say anything specific. So you sent an email, why didn't you question what the questions were that you had for him instead of giving
Just so
this?
you know, Dan, the practice is if they have a question on any specific line item, they just send me an email and ask me what it's time.
And that takes more time. That's more time, more money. So instead of taking a few seconds and adding it on it, that saves time and money.
Well, he already said he's going to. He's going to do that, that should take care of that situation. I'd like to go back and,
There's been a motion made already on the floor. All we're doing
I
is.
would say that motion died, so I think there's gotta be a new motion.
like, you made a motion, go ahead and make your motion
I
again.
make a motion to go back to open session.
Second.
Matt?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
John?
Yes.